good at the gun bench. Terry G, Impact Guns, Ogden, Utah, driven down to have him do a trigger job. Mini-14. Understand you do quite the trigger job on these things, Terry.
I've worked out a way to make them nicer.
Right on. Yeah, Jeremy was speaking highly of the trigger job you did with his gun. We're going to do it on this gun now.
I owe him money.
Cool, man. So, well, off camera, we already put a trigger scale on it, and we measured this particular Mini-14 trigger at about 5.5 pounds.
5 3/4 to 6.
Here we go, on camera showing you. Oh, thanks, dude. How do you like your trigger job? Speaking of Jeremy, he just snuck back. And
I love it.
Terry hooked you up.
I have
on
all
that.
these friends that I work with that are gun salesmen, and people come in and say, well, the Mini-14 just isn't accurate.
Right.
Well, I ask them what their definition of accuracy is, and then I take them out and shoot pop cans at 350 yards with them. So,
Do you really? You shoot a pop can with your Mini-14 at 350?
Definitely.
All right, dude. We got to go
3 to
out and
9.
prove that on camera. Yeah, buddy. I actually am a fan of the Mini. I've been shooting thousands upon thousands of rounds for these guns since the 1980s.
They're just over 6 on that one.
Just over 6 pounds on the stock Mini-14. Time to do a trigger job. I think a trigger does wonders to help bring it out.
Oh, yeah.
Finally, they went ahead and put a better barrel on the Mini-14. I still think it's going to be, if you're lucky, about a 2 MO8 gun at 100 yards, thereabouts. That's been my experience. If you want to hand load for it and do some other work on it, you can probably bring that down. What kind of Mini do you have, Jeremy?
Standard.
Like
Walnut,
that? Is it a
no,
newer
it's
one or
birch
the older
stock,
one?
Walnut stained with, it's a new 580 series.
Cool. Maybe we need to get you out running and gunning with that thing.
I got a different gun for that.
Do you? Whoa, I thought you were digging the Mini though.
I'll
But
dig
not,
the Mini.
it's not your go-to-war tactical carbine though?
Go to war, yeah, because it'll run anything my ARs won't.
Yeah? So,
Silver bear, brown bear, wolf, it'll run it
that's true.
if it has to. So
What kind of optic you running, or just irons on yours?
I use a red dot and one stock, and then when I switch it back to the other stock, I got a 3 to 9 power scope for it.
Wicked. Awesome. Okay. The master, getting ready to go to work.
Well, let's take it down first. Of course, got to make sure it's cocked. Apply the safety. Then, like an M1A or an M1 Grand, got to spring the trigger guard. And
Yep.
unlock it. And then the
Standard
trigger-
field strip on the Mini. Yep.
Trigger grip comes right out.
Okay.
And that's what we're going to be working on today.
Okay. And you're also going to be putting a select fire switch in that for me too, right, Terry?
Probably not today.
Just kidding. I don't want to go through the paperwork hassles of that.
Yeah, no,
You know what? Seriously, who has time? Who has the money for a full auto weapon?
Yeah, that can.
Not me.
We sell a lot of them.
Dude, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess if you don't do anything else in your life and that's the only hobby you have, I guess you could do it. And you reload, of course. High volume reloading.
Yep. This is your disconnector here,
Okay.
and it's spring loaded back up underneath here. There's a little coil spring that runs it.
Okay.
And this is the one piece trigger comes down through here, and there's your sear
Yep.
right there. And this is the sear notch on the hammer. That's what this trigger catches right here. And then your disconnector notch on the back of the hammer is what catches the disconnector. What that does when you've fired it, you've got your trigger pulled, the recoil, the gas will kick the bolt back, and your disconnector catches that back sear. And then when you let the trigger forward, the disconnector lets go, and the sear catches the hammer. And you've got a little bit of space between here, and that's going to be the first portion of a short two-stage trigger pull. And you'll notice that it does not drop the sear off of it because it hasn't pulled the sear out of the notch yet. Now, there's your first stage. That's a little bit of 2 or 3 pounds.
Yep.
Your second stage is you're going to be compressing the spring down here against your disconnector against the back of the hammer. You'll notice that pushes there, and then it drops the sear and lets the hammer forward.
Roger. That's Terry's cell phone, in case you're wondering.
Sorry.
He likes to stay close to his farm.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to take out the disconnector and trigger. We're just going to push up that pin.
And Terry, you've done like what, 3 of these before, right?
Yeah, a couple, yeah. Just a little bit.
300.
Okay.
That was last week.
Yeah. We're not going to change the spring or anything like that because we want reliable ignition, so we're not going to do anything with the spring. But to do the trigger job, we're just going to work on these parts here. Okay. Now this has got a little bearing bushing in there too that's going to separate these two. So we'll push that out, and that'll take your disconnector out.
Yeah.
And there's your disconnector spring.
Yeah.
And there's your trigger springs.
Okay.
Trigger turn springs.
How, on a scale 1 to 10, how hard is this job, you think?
From 1 to 10, probably about a 3 is all.
Okay. Would you recommend a Mini-14 owner tackle this?
Probably not, unless you're real familiar with how the trigger works. First of all, because we have to retime the disconnector to make sure it does its job. We're going to alter a little bit the surfaces of the sear and the sear notch in the hammer. So, unless you're real familiar with that stuff, you don't want it to not function when you pull the trigger, or to not reset, and double on you and stuff like that.
Cool.
So I'd probably say no.
Right on.
Let's try that. Okay, we're going to stone the surface of the sear. We're also going to stone the surface of our notches on the hammer, because they cause friction and create drag. It's going to increase your trigger pull. We're also going to stone the surface of your disconnector, and then we're also going to change the timing, which comes off of this portion of the disconnector. And what that does is, since we've done some altering on the trigger, is that's where that seats right there, is going to allow it to come forward more and hook onto the disconnector hook on the hammer. Therefore, when you let it go, it won't slip off before it catches it on the hammer edge, and keeps it so it won't double on you.
I've done that before with an AR trigger, and it's a little bit tricky.
Yeah, it is.
You can jack it up if you're not careful.
That's how you learn.
Roger that.
Watch the edge of our stone to make sure that we're getting good contact with the surface, and we'll also check it. See that it's getting shined up. Now we don't want to move metal, we're just polishing. So when you feel the stone, you can feel when it's done. It's rough on the stone, and then when it smooths up, you're done.
From start to finish, what's your Mini-14 trigger job time, roughly?
Depending on how well it goes, I'd say probably from 30 minutes to an hour.
You get a lot of dudes wanting it?
Those that know about it, yeah, they really like it. It's not something that a lot of people do. There are some kits, I think, that you can replace some of those parts with that helps. But they probably cost as much or more than this job cost. I didn't have it done.
That Smith & Wesson J-frame you did?
Yes.
Wicked. Great. I still need to do my tabletop on it.
Thank you.
I was really debating whether to post these trigger job vids or not. I just thought it'd be, I don't know, boring for guys. But then I started thinking about it. I was like, it's not boring if you're interested on the intricacies of this gun.
Yeah, we've seen some of the responses, the comments on the one you've posted so far, or on the 1911. Those have been pretty positive.
Yeah, roger that.
that part is kind of a trial and error deal. So we're going to take a little bit at a time and then try it. Take a little bit more and try it. And notice which way these come off. You can take a picture and make a drawing. They'll only go on and work one way.
Yeah. You could refer to the parts diagram too, and we'll have a schematic there.
Yeah, you can do that. Okay, we're going to reduce this just a little bit by over-torquing it, resetting the spring a little bit. You can see that came forward from the other one.
Yeah, so the differences there.
So now we're going to use that as a guide. Take the other one about the same. Reduce our trigger pull a little bit.
Okay.
Now, I'm also going to replace this spring because you notice that's the second half of the trigger pull.
Right.
So let's see if we can find a spring that's a little bit less tension than that. And if you'll go off camera a little bit, we'll waste time doing that.
You got it.
Right
Now
off
they
the
make
bat.
springs for that, right? That you could order.
Yes. You want one real close to the same length, but that's going to be a smaller or lower rate, so it won't be as heavy. We're going to put that in there. Reassemble our trigger sear group. We'll drop that down in there and give everything a try. We may have to have that in and out several times to adjust that.
Okay.
We may have lucked out the first shot.
Cool.
Let's see what the trigger pull is. We have a drum roll.
Drum roll. Here we go. Trigger pull. Mini-14.
And this is without lube. Just over 2 pounds.
Dude, is that what you're shooting for?
2.5 is about what I go for, yeah.
You know what I like a light trigger pull for, Terry, is rate of fire.
Oh yeah.
I can really crank it off. I got a Chip McCormick and an AR-15. That thing rocks. CMMG trigger I like. Rock River. Match trigger's good. And of course increased accuracy.
Yeah, we're going to have to put a little heavier spring in there.
That's a little too light.
I don't like it quite that light.
Yeah, I would agree.
But other than that, I think we pretty well got it.
Is it fair to say, Terry, that every gunsmith will have his own technique that he develops over the years?
In a lot of things, yes. Yes, because it's a lot of this stuff is you learn what the problem is and devise a way to fix the problem. And it may be something that's common that you can either read about or learn about and apply it, or maybe something you've discovered on your own.
And you find things that work for you.
Exactly.
So, how about a Mini-14 trigger? Would be different ways of doing this?
I don't know. This is what I worked out, and it works for me.
Roger that. It's reliable too. Won't get shot out of.
No, Ruger has really good steel, and their parts are very robust. Every Ruger I've ever seen is over-engineered and just got parts in it that will last forever. Almost 2.5 pounds.
Right on. Just by tweaking that one spring then, huh?
Mm-hmm.
The coil spring. I wouldn't mind it around 3-ish.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's put your normal spring back in and see what that does to it.
Okay.
Even at that, it'll be about half of what it was, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So you pulled 6 on that one take, didn't you?
Yeah.
How many hours a day are you at the bench sitting here doing work
Pardon me?
How many hours a day are you here at the bench doing work?
If I'm busy, it'll be all day long. Other than that, I'll go back and answer emails, make phone calls.
Or play video games in the break room?
Yeah.
Halo, right?
If we had a break room, that might be something.
Dude, you guys need a union. You don't have a break room?
Hey,
Kidding.
we're a working shop.
What's that?
If you're up playing, you're not doing your customers what they pay you for.
One thing I love about Impact that it's a family business, family owned.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, you're going to turn into all thumbs while you're being on camera.
Don't worry, I'll edit that part out.
Yeah, I'll bet you will. Yeah, and it went in because it missed. Yeah, it's got a little more on it. Three and a half.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah, 3 1/4. So we're in the ballpark.
Cool.
As soon as we put a little lube on that, to take just a little bit more off of it.
Do you know much about the accuracy systems, Mini-14s? We do heavy barrel retrofit.
No, I've heard of them being done, and they're about the only ones in town, I think. Isn't it?
Yeah, they're expensive though. I mean, heck, you can buy a really tricked out AR-15 for the amount of money you put in a Mini-14 for that.
Wow. Okay, let's put this back in there.
Cool. What did that last one pull at, Terry?
Just over 3.
Awesome. Trigger job, Terry G Impact Guns Ogden Mini-14. How much you charge for this job, Terry? For nutnfancy fans.
It's $65 is about standard rate for most trigger jobs.
What if they mention nutnfancy? How much then?
What's that?
What if they mention nutnfancy? How much then, Terry?
75.
Nice.
I work for the store, so I can't really do much for that.
Terry. You like it?
Yeah.
Is that cool?
Yeah. And there's, I did forget to mention though that for an extra little bit, and I'll do this for you here, we're going to put a trigger stop in it also.
Wicked.
And that's, we're going to drill and tap a hole right in the back here, part of your trigger, and so it will interfere. As soon as it breaks, it stops, and that will do a lot for your grouping because, you know, after you're pulling the trigger, after the trigger breaks, your finger keeps going, pulls your muzzle off when it stops.
Okay.
So it can affect that. Go ahead and feel that trigger pull.
Nicely. Here, you got the camera. There's my man. Oh, yeah. Daddy like. Yeah, that's nice, Terry. Very exciting. Nice job, man. Put that over travel stop in there. Yeah, buddy. We're going to take this out in the desert, pop some rounds.
And you'll feel
Yoda. Do you mind if I gave you that name, Yoda?
I've been called worse.
I have a feeling it's going to take off.
Okay, we're just going to drill a hole right there and tap it.
Yeah, okay.
Run it down there, and then we'll adjust the depth of the screw to where it just stops the trigger when it breaks.
Yeah.
And then you should be happy with that.
Perfect. And where's the select fire switch on that bad boy?
Well, let's see. Well, we have yet to.
Just kidding. I don't want to select fire Mini-14.
We are nothing but if we're not legal. So
You know that's right.
You show me the paperwork, we'll do it up.
I don't want. Seriously, I have zero interest in that.
Okay. Yeah,
For money and just need to. I just don't need it. putting the over travel stop for the trigger in.
And here's another place where you don't want to really just go in after it, because they use such hard metal that a lot of times a regular drill will just dance on this thing. It will not cut it. You've got to use a real expensive carbide drill.
So there's a difference. I didn't even know they made such a thing, dude.
Oh yeah, carbide drill, 2 flutes. That drill is probably about $20 by itself.
$20 just by itself. 100% carbide.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the fillings in your mouth, right? You only go with carbide fillings.
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
This will drill it.
It's cool. It's worth the extra money. Who needs dentures when you got carbide fillings?
That's right.
They're sending lots of lead downrange next door.
A little bit and give it a little bit more. It's cutting oil, it's not just regular lube oil.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Good news.
I found it interesting when we were out with dinner with Mike Pfeiffer. What was it, last month before?
Something like that.
How he talked about the streamlining of the manufacturing process at Ruger.
Yeah, they've done a lot of different stuff. If you go to their website, you can see how they have. Somebody turned off the light.
Change the way they do business down there. Maybe we'll do a tour sometime, dudes.
You don't want him to turn that on.
Troubleshooting this compressor.
And you can see how that will just mechanically stop the trigger.
What are you going to do, thread lock it once it's in position?
You betcha. Let's see how. Well, actually, I'm going to get it. I'm going to cut it off to where it will just be long enough to when we seat everything.
Okay.
And it will be thread locked, but it'll also be tightened down.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So it's not just floating. Okay.
Terry's got a friend here with him, chilling out and watching the whole process behind us.
Tool from Brownells. It's called the Screw Gizzy. It's made of old screws so you can cut them and file them and
Cool.
do stuff you need to do without toasting your fingers.
Guns have triggers.
So you're just eyeballing the depth on that, Terry?
Yeah, for now. We're going to screw it down tight,
Mm-hmm.
and then if it's still too little bit too long, we'll just take a little bit down on the belt sander till we get it right where we want it. Got to go far enough to get the disconnector, and that's what it's doing. So I think we're there. Okay.
Do you find you have to degrease your threads for thread lock, or does it not matter?
It goes through light. It goes through light grease really well.
Does it?
Yep.
And you're putting red on that instead of blue? That's like permanent, right?
Well, it's just heavy duty.
Okay.
You can still get it off, but you're going to want to mean it.
Heat it up, right? I think the red you have to heat with a heat gun.
Sometimes on this you won't. It's got a big enough screw head on it. You can get it with a good screwdriver.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Awesome.
Put that back in there and let's try it now.
I think I'm going to slap a 30 rounder in there and go test it in the range. 223.
Okay.
Probably wouldn't dig that so much.
There. Lanes 1 and 2 are for rifles.
Are they? I didn't know that.
Yep. Oh,
Are you happy with it?
Yeah. You'll like that now.
Here, cock it for me. I'll just put it. I do like it. I do like it, Terry.
That stop
buddy.
makes another difference.
It's amazing how much difference it makes. I love that.
And that finishes off a trigger, I think.
Yeah.
Got a stop in it.
Amen. Terry G. Mini-14 trigger job. We're going to take this out shooting. Be patient. It's coming. And I got to do updates to some Mini-14 shooting. You'll see it. Thanks, Terry.
You're welcome.
Terry G, Impact Guns, hosting us again for a little bit of gunsmithing this time with the Mini-14. Very impressive trigger job. Of course, we got to go out in the field and make sure it's impressive.
Absolutely.
And we'll put it against some other minis without a trigger job, maybe, see if it makes any difference accuracy-wise. Nut Fancy, guys, signing off. Thanks for tuning in. We'll do some more of this later on. Peace out. Bye. Stress levels about mid-range, heart rate up. I think the Mini-14 will hold its own against pretty much the best rifles in the world. It's a small, lightweight, and fast handling carbine. I think the Mini-14 will hold its own. Definitely. Mini-14 against the world, baby. Let's see how it did. This is a Mini-14 tactical, Duracoated by me, nutnfancy. Oh yeah, dude, I'll take it. I have to laze it, maybe 76 yards. Mini-14, 10 round center mass from rollover prone from barricade. Oh, dude. Freaking owned it.
What kind of shooting?
All right. So there's a cup of shut the hell up for any Mini-14 critic. This is simulated combat conditions, stress levels high. Yeah, we practice this. Can you ask for better from a tactical carbine? Mini-14 is still doing very well. Very well indeed. I went prone on this particular run. Others I will not. Dude, Mini-14 with authority on the 50-yard target smell. Again, practically speaking, the Mini-14 is shooting as good as any tactical carbine I've ran here in the West Desert. My own experience, not forum experience, not anecdotal from magazines, own TMP proven shooting experience. You're seeing it right now. The Mini-14 will hold its own. All the way out to 200 yards easily. Counting?
Miss. Just kidding. 2 hits. 3. Hit. Hit. All 5.
Mini-14s rock. This one is wearing a trigger job by Terry Gardner, Impact Guns, Ogden, Utah. He did such a great job on this trigger.